Good evening, and welcome to Outside of the Grid, a podcast by Brad Barfield and Donald Hensley, where we have extraordinary conversation with so-called ordinary people that you meet driving down the street or in the stores, but you don't know their backstory until you learn it here, way out here, outside of the grid. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, my friend Donald.
How you doing, Dan?
I'm going to add Tommy in.
Hey.
I can figure out how to work this damn thing. I think I said that every recording. I'm trying to figure out how to work this damn thing.
Oh, I know. Well, you take them glasses off and you can't see shit.
If I were to produce this thing live, it would be the words, if I could figure out how to work this damn thing at the very beginning. But good morning, guys.
Howdy. Good
Hey,
morning.
man.
Is that you?
That's me.
Hey, me.
Whoa,
How
man.
you? It's a beautiful morning.
So far, so good, man. But I tell you what, it was still and just muggy heck this morning, I'm telling you. But it looks like the breeze is blowing a tiny bit.
My
Well,
flag's not moving at all.
I got a fan blowing. I hope it ain't too loud.
Oh, I normally have one sitting around out here while I'm out here working and stuff, too. It's blowing on the outside of the truck. I sit in my truck normally and get on my Bluetooth. That way I got good, monitor and, it seems to come across the recording really well, too.
I should probably do that, but with my life habits, it probably wouldn't be good for my truck.
No. So you don't have that advantage.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah.
I had
anyway,
a pretty cool thought this morning.
Yeah, what's going on? What'd you think about?
I walked down the street, and it was calm, like you say, and all of a sudden I hear a rustling, and I look up, and there's one tree blowing in the wind, and I'm like, there's trees all over the place, but this one tree, I'm like, it made me think about the invisible air that it's like rivers.
Yeah.
The air, the sky is full of invisible rivers of air.
yeah, little jet streams and stuff like that. It's kind of like,
because it just had it just blew that one tree.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but think about a storm. How does the disturbance even start to create a hurricane, much less a tiny little ruffling of one tree in a forest somewhere?
Air is heavy. There's 10 pounds of air pushing down above your head right now. There's 10 pounds of air causing us to have a pressure.
Yeah, 14.7 pounds at sea level is the actual measurement, but that's
Okay.
it's a general measurement at sea level.
Yeah.
I don't know what our current elevation is, but that's considered one atmosphere or one bar if you was using European measurements. But I mean, it's heat. It's still heat and cold rising. You got hot air wants to go up, and as it rises, it gets cold, and it wants to fall down, and it's bringing moisture up and down, and so it causes air movements. I mean, there's a certain spot, I believe, and it's down near the equator, but it's like a dead area. It's almost like supposedly where all the wind actually starts. It's like you can get into this area and the sails will go dead because the wind goes up instead of out. Or I think I've read that, and that could be a fantasy crap, man, because I've never actually looked it up, but it is an interesting thought.
Hey, just for the curiosity, I just pulled up my compass on my phone, and where I'm at in Crossett is 120 feet elevation, and where my office at in Monticello is 267 feet.
Wow.
Yeah, so that tells you kind of where we're at. Of course, now I'm over here near the Washita River, but I bet if you live near the Saline River, you would be down low. Just guessing. You're probably.
How long before it's oceanfront property here is what I want to know.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you that within not long. I mean, it's going to be. I mean, unless we do like New Orleans is doing now. I mean, and hold off the inevitable. I mean, South Louisiana.
With levees.
I mean,
oh, well, see, I don't believe you know, not even bringing anything more than just the ice caps, melting, regardless of why it's melting. They are melting, you know, and so that's going to put a lot more water. So, I mean, man, that's going to come a point that levees ain't going to do nothing. I mean, it's going to be, it's going to raise by, 10, 20, 30 feet. Well, heck, you know what that's going to do.
But
we're
it's gonna,
200 foot above sea level. When if it rose 100 foot, well, suddenly we're only 100 foot above sea level.
I just can't imagine it ever happening at one time. I don't believe in catastrophism unless something catastrophic happens. But But now it's going to be slow, and it's going to be us moving different. Here, I don't know about here. I mean, I don't know about here. I used to have this vision back when my dad lived up north, like in. My dad lived in North Arkansas, and it was 1,260 feet in his yard, okay, above sea level. And I felt pretty safe there. And then when he sold that property, I'm like, I really hate that he sold that property, because what is he going to do here? I think it's going to be a long time unless something catastrophic does happen. Don't you think that? Or no?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that ain't going to be a rapid thing. I'm just saying, just given time, it can happen.
I mean, here's the deal. Up there in his front yard at 1,260 feet above sea level in the Ozarks, which is one of the oldest. I mean, that range was, it was pushed, old rock was pushed up. So that's an old range up there. But there was sea life. I still have the rocks right in my closet. There's like that I picked up out of his yard, we dug in holes. It was there. It's sea life fossils at 1,260 feet in Arkansas.
Oh yeah, I've seen them. I found one in the creek, and it looked like a fossilized skull, and I took it home to take a closer look at it, and I was convinced it had skull features. I could even picture a spinal column and teeth and eye sockets, and I was just convinced. And I took a microscope and I looked in a hole, and it was obviously a shell, like a tiny seashell. I'm like, this is just a sea conglomerate. It just happens to look like a skull.
Yeah.
And it was up there in around Fayetteville.
Have you guys ever been over to that museum over in El Dorado about here that tells you about the geological history of South Arkansas?
I don't think so.
No, I've never. No, I mean, I know a little bit of it, but I've never been to that museum or anything. I don't know enough to even say I would know what I was talking about.
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you get a rock in southeast Arkansas? A rock?
Well, I mean, you've got bedrock that gets pushed up, moved around. I mean, it's either glacier movement from the Ozarks, because
it's covered in mud around here.
That's right. You got to go to North Arkansas to get a rock. Well, I was trying to say that to find a rock around here, if you see a rock, somebody dragged it here is all I'm trying to say. More than
right. Yeah, no, that's what I meant. That's what I was trying to say was, if you see it around here, it had to be brought here, from glacier movement from somewhere in the Ozarks moving down this way.
There's a lot of those Native American stuff that they dragged from Michigan and everywhere else down to here to make grinding bowls, sandstone and stuff. But it's always been kind of fascinating to me that, we live in a place where there is no rock, and all the substantial, Native American creations, megalithic creations from 5,000 years ago are all done in dirt because there's no rock here. They didn't even have a semblance of rock. Rock was something you dragged to grind up food or something or kill animals. It's not a what you live on, around here for sure. But
can I nerd out for a minute?
Sir?
Can I nerd out for a minute?
Nerd out? I'm trying to get people to nerd out.
Nerd out, all right. It's about SpaceX, of course, and I came up with snow thrusters, man. I don't know if I told you guys about that. And it's crazy, but if you vent water into space, which is a vacuum, the water flashes to vapor. It boils basically immediately. So it goes to steam, which produces fucking thrust. You just shoot that into a nozzle and you have thrust from just good old water injected into space. No combustion except exposing it to the vacuum of space. It's not, it's rocket science. But so it started me thinking about all the things you could do with that, and it makes snow. It flashes to molecular water, so just the smallest of atoms that is in it is molecular water, so it's tiny, and then that of course immediately freezes because it's space. So it makes snow,
which is number one, it's not pollution, but how does that work though? How would you carry? I tried to keep up with that conversation on there. My only question when they're on your post on SpaceX, okay, and you had a very big audience responding to you, very smart people. I was impressed, but I don't see how do you create the water? You
carry it with you in a big tank. I mean, on spacecraft, you have to have water if there's people on it. I mean, if a person has a ton of water,
the thrust from water, I mean, how much does it not take much?
Well, I don't know what the thrust would be, and there's got to be an ideal condition. I mean, I thought maybe you could steam the water before you even inject it into the nozzle, and that might have some effect.
That would be a great way, because in my opinion, this is my nerding out right here. Earth is an organic creature, just like
it's alive. Yeah, it's got
just like we are.
Streams and
that's right, and it's screaming right now.
Blood and
we're doing mean stuff to it, and we're. I mean, she's sending out. I say she because I don't know of any other thing than Mother Earth, but she's sending out just like a tree or anything does to tell us to stop. I mean, I like the water idea, man. I if that would work, then you could figure that out. I mean,
the thing of. But some of that goes back to what I was saying the other day, and since we couldn't really talk, we couldn't get it across there, But it goes back to feasibility. I mean, you're right. If you got people on a ship traveling somewhere, you got to have water, but you got limited water, and you can't just grab asteroids or comets and stuff flying by. So the water that's on there,
why not?
Makes more. Well, can you do it now? Can we do it at this moment?
Elon's spaceship is capable of retrieving the Hubble.
I understand that, but what I'm talking about is, all right, so they launch it and they head it to Mars.
Yeah,
hold on a second.
Hold on.
Let me back up 1 second now. Now, let's talk about how Earth got water. As I understand it, that's where they captured it. The Earth captured it from stuff flying in and hitting Earth and leaving the water here. That's what they say.
But what I'm trying to say is, think about all the technology that's got to squeeze into this tiny one ship going to Mars, right?
That was my question.
And that's what I'm trying to get to. Hold on. I understand. Wait. Let me finish, Tommy. I'm just saying it's not a good idea. I'm talking about the feasibility of using it in the current missions. You got to try to send all the latest, greatest technology we currently have. Yes. Okay. You can grab water, but they can't do it right now. So for this trip and the first few trips, until we establish the ability to grab water from space in whatever form, that don't make it a great idea.
But now
in this case only.
We all agree, though. We all agree that we want to get to space as quick as possible. If we have to use rocket thrusters first, that's fine. But I mean, is that even? But let's just talk about it though. Is that to us? Does that make sense? Like for us to even grab that water out there, because we know there's water in the universe, or there was at one point in time. Water seems to be ubiquitous. I mean,
anything that you can grab in space is
just one thing. It's not just one ship, first of all, or two. It's going to be hundreds of ships, and I don't know how many at once. Maybe 10 at once. And one of them is going to be full of water.
But how do they get that that's full of water to these other ships while we're doing this? I mean, because again, you're talking about thrusters using water. So you got 10 ships and one's full of water, all right?
Well, these thrusters only work in
water, man. I'm just saying at the moment.
Only work in space.
I get that. I'm just talking about, think about the feasibility. You can, I guess, do that, but you can't do it right now. It's a cost per pound ratio type.
Yes, that's right. Just think about this. We may not
have. Ship isn't built yet.
We have
right. That's what I'm saying.
We have to listen though. We don't have enough metal to build that kind of a ship here on Earth, but there are other planets around us that we could probably get the metal to build it. Because if you start taking that much steel out of our economy, you're gonna have a fucking mess. Excuse my language.
There's no shortage of steel. Iron is the third most popular element on the planet.
Yeah, when we get to that type point, I mean, it's going to have to be, we're going to be able to reclaim meteorites and space garbage. You know, you're going to be able to do those kind of things before you can build the ships that, you know, we really want to see.
We saw Back to the Future. He turned that thing into a trash machine quick. Banana peels and shit like that, you know, come on.
Yeah, but we're not there yet. I mean, that's my only thing was, They can't use some things because the supporting technology is just not there yet. It may be an awesome idea.
Okay.
I agree. We got to get out there.
We got to get out there. All right,
so guess what? You got to be able to go out there as fast as we can with our current level of technology, which does not include being able to waste a ton of water that should be dedicated to the passengers of the spaceship.
I get what
these
you're
are
saying.
These are micro thrusters for attitude adjustment. They're not propulsion thrusters. They're for twisting the ship around in vacuum space.
Right, and that's why I went back to, well, why wouldn't they use ion thrusters? Because they already have liquid O2 used in the main thrust engines.
Yeah.
They have the technology to superheat the liquid O2 to create plasma and create those tiny puffs of thrust you were talking about.
Well, how do you create that though? Like, let's imagine that we create a proactive plan. We create a proactive plan for like 30 years future out. Because whenever we get out there, we're going to carry our manufacturing processes and grabbing processes with us. Because we're not going to be prepared to get past the solar system. We're going to have to learn how to catch the shit, like you mentioned a few minutes ago. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to have to figure out, because it's going to have to be a learn-as-you-go thing. I mean, really, you're going to have to leave here with your current technology, but you got to have a way to figure out. I mean, and really, you think about it, when you get out there.
It's designed to land on any planet in the solar system, and a lot of these planets, one of them is literally covered in liquid lakes of methane. I don't know if you could land on it, but it's there.
Like
well,
what?
But I mean,
like
things that they make of the, that particular thing is, we can't just say, well, it'll land on anything. Well, we don't know that because we've never landed anything on anything else other than the moon and Mars.
Yeah, it's designed to land on any landable object in the solar system. It's a solid surface.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And this is exactly a perfect point to say that the current technology is going to get there, but we're designing it for the future. But the idea is we can currently land on land, not this other stuff. But we're going to plan for that.
Okay,
it's a future thing, right?
It's
a plan for the future.
Though. I mean, I saw a video. Elon was like, we're having trouble with the flaps on this thing overheating at where they're connected to the ship. They have to have this big shielding, and they're overheating in these simulations. I'm like, move them back towards out of the plasma stream. Because when this thing comes in from Mars, or for example, or the moon, it's traveling at like 100, 200,000, 300,000 miles an hour, like stupid speed. And the only way to slow it down is to air brake it, and that's what heats up the vehicle, and you have to have tiles. So I suggested moving the flaps out of that stream, because because the flaps move back, like out of the way, right? Well, when you move the connection point up, back off, they're stick straight out the sides. You move them, out of the stream. But when you actuate them, they still have pull. When you move them, they're in you still have control of the vehicle. And like 3 days later, Elon's like, we're going to do exactly that.
Yeah, I did see that conversation, but I've also read Michael Crichton. How are we? You know, have y'all ever read Sphere by Michael Crichton? No?
I'm sorry?
You ever read
No, I haven't. No, I watched the whole movie. I never actually read the book.
Well, anyway, so like, you know, like there was a at that time they found you know, this ship traveled through time and landed back in the history like 1776, and then we found it in the 1990s. This ship that had been crashed. But here's my question: for all the fancy shit you guys are talking about, whether we do it with water or however it is, how are you going to find the people that's going to take the ship ride with you to Mars or Jupiter, which I think may be one of those gaseous planets you're talking about? I mean, or maybe they're satellites, the moons, or whatever. How are we going to get? Are there people that are going to do that? I mean,
sign me up. I mean, he just announced he's building android robots that are humanoid-shaped robots with navigation like they use in the cars. He's building androids.
Yeah, Brad, you're not going to have a problem finding folks who are going to do it. You're going to have more of a problem. You're going to have too many applicants.
Look, sign me up.
These are going to, well, I know, but I mean, again, I would love them to sign me up, but I know that's really not a very feasible option. There's going to be a super major rush of nerds like us that have actual PhDs.
Wow, people with money,
and stuff that will be more than glad to risk it for the chance to go. No, I don't think finding the folks is going to be a problem. I think deciding which ones is going to be the problem.
Yeah, there's going to need to be an academy or something.
Yeah, they're going to figure that part out, because I'm sure that everybody would. But now, I mean, I wouldn't. Not right now, because I have kids. If I was 70 and my kids were out of college and I knew that they were all taken care of, I probably would want to. But right now, it wouldn't even be a. I mean, I'd joke about it.
Take them with you.
Huh?
Take them with you.
I mean, I'd have to have faith, and I'd have to be really trained, and I'd have to really know that technology. I wouldn't just be walking.
Like lost in space.
They put out a call. We need some just dead weight. Let's see. Barfield. There you go, yeah. Barfield.
Here's the deal. Mars is going to need everything Earth needs, man. They're going to need burger flippers. They're going to need ditch diggers and so forth. Anybody can go. If you
but I bet you they're going to they're going to wait on the burger flipper people until after. You know, it's kind of built up a little more.
Hey, I can flip a burger. I can do double duty.
I can do just about anything they ask me to until I can't.
Well, I mean, I think it's fascinating. I don't understand the people, if they truly went to the moon, which, you know, I'm ambivalent. I believe in general they did, but, you know, it takes a set of cojones to actually climb in that. I mean, you know, we could talk shit out here in the barbecue shit all day long, but you climb in that bar.
Oh my God.
Huh?
Shit. Yeah, it's a 200-foot tall barrel of Tahoe.
Oh, it tastes good. Oh, it tastes good. You know, but I still think out of the millions of people around the world, there's going to be those, you know, 30, 40 at a time crewing them. Even when we get to the point of going to more frontier type thing, which is, you know, it's a future thing, and I hope we see it. You know,
then breaking up.
So there'll come a point there where, you know, you're going to have to, you know, be transferring, average people that can still benefit, but at the same time not have all those PhDs. Because you're right, you're still going to need the blue-collar folks, the burger flippers.
But hey, right here where we're at, right here and now on Earth, if we don't, I mean, we talked a little bit about it. We said it was a long time off, but, you know, I know the difference that's happened between 1977 and here. That's when I started kindergarten. There's a big difference in the world now in lots of different ways. But now, that was about, 45 years ago? So, let's look ahead. Like Arthur C. Clarke lived 90 years, and everybody that's ever been around me knows I love Arthur C. Clarke, Michael Crichton, those guys that they kind of tried to put all this stuff that you're talking about now, like we're actually on the the TV, we're on the knife's edge of us actually going out to space. I mean, Mars is not far away, I believe. With Elon Musk, it's close. What? But down here, where we're at, and on the climate level, we see all these changes going on. We see the ice caps melting. We see all this stuff going on. They're breaking apart. Things are changing. What in 45 years from now? What's it going to be like here where we're at? Think will y'all want to guess on what we're seeing? Where we're at now here in the Delta?
Honestly, I think we're going to end up with probably some kind of. I'm not going to say an apocalypse because that's really not the right word. I just think we're going to end up with some kind of catastrophe somewhere in the world that's going to disrupt what we currently have because it's already on the edge. Because look at the crazy, people killing people with hammers in front of their kids because they want to wear a mask. I mean, and that's one side. There's the other side, the liberal side of it too, but neither here nor there. There's going to be something that's going to kind of change. It's going to push us to a change that's going to really change how we see the world and our life. It may not be great, but it may not be terrible either. I ain't one of them doomsayers or nothing. But
what do you think, Tommy?
I do think it's there.
What do you think, Tommy? What do you think is going to be 45 years here where we live right now?
We might have lost Tommy. He said I was breaking up on him, but I ain't for sure if that was actually me or him.
Well, it was somebody. I heard it.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if that was him because he was moving around or what.
He's there right now. I hear him. Tommy, you there? Tommy, this is Hal 9000. Can you please report to the bridge?
Please report to the bridge. I can't get it, Scotty.
Well, I mean, I wonder about that. You've actually add him in again while we're talking?
You can. I mean, it's whatever you think, man.
It's all good. So now, I'll be right back.
All right, go ahead.